We are so excited to be able to finally work in our garden again this week.
We've had a really busy week to the point where we haven't been able to get out here at all. So we wanted to bring you guys into the garden with us today. We got started last night with the first order of business, getting rid of the squash and zucchini plants that had succumbed to squash bugs.
Yeah, squash bugs are quite a problem in this particular area of our country in Missouri. We had not encountered them before.
No, we've grown squash before. The last time really successfully was when we were in Alabama in the Montgomery area, and we didn't encounter them. We planted squash and zucchini, and we picked the squash and zucchini until the season was over. So last year we really encountered the squash bugs for the first time, and we fought them and fought them.
Yeah, there's a tug on your whole soul whenever you go to pulling up a plant that looks like it's still thriving or could live. And we nursed it and we nursed it and we tried everything that we could and really fought the thing, and we did not prevail.
No. So we talked with our friends Kevin and Sarah from Living Traditions Homestead about, hey, what do you guys do? And if you watched their most recent video, you saw they pulled their plants out of the ground and just started over. Where we live here in Missouri, we have a really long growing season. So we're able to get a small harvest at the beginning of the season, pull the plants out. Instead of trying to fight the squash bugs like we did last year, we just pull the plants out, replant them, and then we'll get another full harvest before the end of the season.
Squash is one of my favorite summertime vegetables, so the thought of not having any more was just like, no, this is not okay. So we pulled them out, and today we're going to replant the seeds. Along with that, we have got a lot of picking to do and show you guys how amazing this garden is doing for us this year, especially since we put the weed cloth down. Because had we not put the weed cloth down, to be honest with you, with our busy schedules that we have these days, I think we would probably have already called it quits.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We just, like for this past week, we didn't have any time at all. So the weeds would have just taken over. So we're excited to show you guys a garden that, while we don't spend every waking hour out here and meticulously prune and pluck weeds, you can see that we're still being successful in growing a garden, and we're happy to share with you the harvest that we get today. And we also want to talk just a little bit about our philosophy with growing a garden.
Some of our thoughts that we've been banging around our heads. Let's go see the garden and look around and do some work, and we'll talk about that while we're doing it.
First thing we're going to do is replant. We're not doing any zucchini this time. We're just replanting squash. And we have a yellow straight neck summer squash. We're going to put 2 per hole from where we just pulled out the plants. All right, that was quick.
Too easy.
We've got the squash plants out last night. Squash bugs went with them, hopefully, and we have some new squash seeds put in the ground.
Right. So let's go over next and go and look at our big row of a variety of peppers that we have going. They're doing really well, and we're excited to show you guys. Here's the pepper row over here. But as you can see, since it's been a little bit since we've been out here in the garden, we need to do a little alley clearing with these out of control tomatoes on this side. So we're going to go through real quick and kind of clear ourselves a walk space so we can show you the peppers. They probably need to breathe under there anyways, a little bit.
That's right.
We're getting there.
And those that you're trimming right now are our Amish paste.
Okay. One of our little cherry tomatoes just fell onto the ground. I think I should try it. Delicious. One of the things about me in particular is that I don't necessarily care to garden. It's a lot of work. It's really hot, and the bugs and the itchiness just don't, make me super happy. But I understand the value in getting out here and growing your own food. So it's almost, for me, it's a bit of a suck it up, buttercup. And I get out here and I do it because of the practicality of the know-how. Knowing how to grow your own food has gotten to a very, very important place for me in particular. So the learning, it's all about the learning for me.
It's also very important in our area of the world here in the Ozarks to have good soil to grow a garden. We have about an inch or two of topsoil on top of rock and clay. So in this part of the world, you can't just till the ground and put a seed in and expect it to grow. So as part of the practice for knowing how to grow something is having the correct soil to grow it in. And we've spent quite a bit of time correcting our soil and making it such that it can grow should we ever need to grow something.
A large majority of our audience here on YouTube is over the age of 45. So many of you are at the same stage in life as we are, and you've been spending a lot of time inside or commuting to work, working. You've just been working. We've been working, and probably not out gardening and learning how to grow your own food, just like us. And to me, I have come to think of this garden out here as a bit of a batting cage. So Rich and I, we played a lot of sports whenever we were growing up, whether it be him playing football and practicing 2-a-days during the summer, or me with softball and swimming, and we both played tennis, and we did practice. We practiced and practiced and practiced so that when game day came, we knew how to play the game and we played it well. And so for me, out here practicing in this garden is getting me personally ready for game day. In the event that another occasion arises, as it did in 2020, the grocery stores just really suffered to get us food. The food supply chain was not very strong, and the groceries just weren't always there for us during that time. And that realization brought it right home that we need to know how to grow our own food. So getting out here in the garden, learning how to prune, learning to pull the squash out so that the squash bugs can live their cycle without attacking squash, and then put them back in the ground, replant the squash so we get more. Learning these tactics and techniques of growing our own food for self-sufficiency is really, really important. So to me, this is a practice batting cage.
I mentioned that we spent 3 years getting this soil ready. The way we did it was first we hauled in an entire dump truck load of organic compost. And the first year we tried to grow straight into that compost, and the garden didn't do very well. So that winter we put the chickens on it, and they were able to scratch around and be chickens, and we added some straw and compost from our dairy barn area. And the next spring we planted again, and the garden did a little bit better, still not great. By fall we moved the chickens back in, and they spent the winter on the garden again with more straw and manure from our dairy area. Michaela has a rabbit, and its cage gets cleaned out into that area. So we've done quite a bit. We hauled in a couple of truckloads of mushroom compost. So we've been working for 3 years now to get this soil ready for a garden. And we're really excited with this particular spring summer because the soil is finally ready. The garden is really growing, and we're getting bountiful harvest out of it. And that's just a very important part of becoming prepared for, like Shelley mentioned, you know, you never know when something's going to happen. But if you don't have soil that is ready to grow, you can't grow.
So we encourage you, wherever it is that you may live, whether it's in an apartment and you can do an herb garden in your windowsill or grow some tomatoes, or you live in the suburbs and you could have a small garden somewhere, to learn how to cultivate a plant and get fruit from it for yourselves. We encourage you to go learn how, get the know-how, and prepare yourself that in the event you need to, that you can add some food to your life.
There have definitely been times in our country's history where a citywide garden was really, really important. Freedom gardens, I think, is what they called them. And if you don't know how to do it, though, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to have one or have access to one. So we encourage you to take whatever steps you can to learn how to garden. And for us, that answers the question, why garden?
This was an amazing harvest that we got today. We got 2 big baskets of vegetables. There were some cucumbers and tomatoes, as well as some peppers and Swiss chard. We will take these into the kitchen and prep them for wonderful, wonderful meals.
Yeah, we got 25 pounds of cucumbers.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us again on the farm today. And until next time, bye y'all.
Bye y'all.